Since the dawn of humanity, the question of loneliness and divine purpose has been a subject of profound reflection and debate. Why does God, in His infinite wisdom, desire that human beings, His own creations, remain alone at certain moments in their lives? This is a question that has plagued the minds of philosophers, theologians, and ordinary people throughout the centuries. As we examine the history of humanity, we can observe that loneliness has often been a catalyst for spiritual growth and self-discovery. It is in these moments of isolation that individuals are forced to confront their own emotions, fears, and doubts, leading them on a journey of self-awareness and connection with the divine. Many of the great spiritual leaders and thinkers of humanity, such as Buddha, Jesus Christ, and Muhammad, went through periods of loneliness and retreat before attaining their enlightenments and revelations. These moments of isolation allowed them to deeply connect with their own souls, unravel the mysteries of the universe, and receive divine guidance that would transform the world. It can be argued that loneliness is a tool used by God to test the faith, resilience, and determination of His children. By facing loneliness, individuals are forced to trust in His providence and seek His guidance, thus strengthening their relationship with the Creator. This deeper connection with the divine is essential for spiritual development and the fulfillment of each person's purpose. Furthermore, loneliness can be seen as an opportunity for personal growth and inner transformation. When we are alone, we are forced to confront our own insecurities, fears, and limitations. This confrontation with the inner self can be painful, but it is also essential for the process of self-realization. It is in these moments of loneliness that we can truly know ourselves deeply, identify our weaknesses, and work to overcome them. By facing our internal demons and learning to deal with them, we become stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to face life's challenges. Many mystics and sages throughout history believed that loneliness was a necessary condition for spiritual enlightenment. They withdrew to remote locations, away from the hustle and bustle of the world, in order to focus on their connection with the divine and attain a deeper understanding of the nature of existence. In these moments of isolation, they were able to disconnect from the distractions and demands of the material world, allowing their consciousness to expand and receive insights and revelations that would not only transform their own lives, but also the lives of all humanity. Do you understand the importance of loneliness in the process of spiritual growth and self-discovery? Would you like me to continue with the next part of the script? However, loneliness should not only be seen as a divine blessing. It can also be a source of great suffering and anguish for those who are not prepared or unable to cope with it in a healthy manner. Loneliness can lead to feelings of depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideation, especially in vulnerable individuals or those with mental health issues. It is important to recognize that loneliness is a universal human experience that affects everyone at some point in their lives. However, how we deal with this loneliness can make all the difference. Those who learn to embrace loneliness, to use it as an opportunity for self-exploration and connection with the divine, are able to transform it into a positive and enriching experience. On the other hand, those who sink into loneliness, who see it only as a curse, risk losing themselves in an abyss of hopelessness and disconnection. It is at this point that spiritual guidance and support from a community become essential, helping individuals find balance and transform loneliness into a journey of self-discovery. God, in His infinite wisdom, knows that loneliness is a necessary experience for the spiritual growth of His children. By confronting our own loneliness, we are forced to look within ourselves, to face our fears, and to seek a deeper connection with the divine. It is in this process that we find true peace, true happiness, and the true purpose of our lives. Throughout history, many individuals have reported profound and transformative experiences during periods of loneliness. These accounts offer us a window into better understanding the divine purpose behind this human condition. A notable example is that of St. John of the Cross, a 16th century Spanish mystic. During his life, he faced periods of imprisonment and isolation, which he considered opportunities to deepen his connection with God. In his works, he describes the dark night of the soul, a period of intense loneliness and spiritual purification as a necessary path to achieving mystical union with the Creator. Similarly, the famous philosopher and theologian Blaise Pascal in the 17th century wrote about the human condition and the need to find God as the only source of true happiness. He believed that loneliness was a consequence of original sin, but could also be an opportunity to seek redemption and reconciliation with the divine. More recently, the author and spirituality professor Henri Nouwen explored the theme of loneliness in depth in his work. He argued that loneliness is not just a state of mind, but a spiritual condition that leads us to a greater connection with God and our own humanity. Nouwen emphasized that loneliness should not be avoided or feared, but embraced as an opportunity for growth and transformation. He believed that it is in loneliness that we can discover our true identity, vocation, and divine purpose. In addition to historical examples, we can find evidence of divine purpose in loneliness in various spiritual and religious traditions around the world. In the Bible, for example, we find numerous passages that highlight the importance of loneliness and retreat as means of connecting with God. One of the most notable examples is the story of Moses, who spent 40 years in the desert before receiving God's call to lead the people of Israel. During this period of isolation, Moses had the opportunity to purify himself, to connect with the divine, and to prepare for the mission that awaited him. Similarly, Jesus Christ spent 40 days in the desert, facing temptation and loneliness before beginning his public ministry. This period of isolation was crucial for him to strengthen spiritually and prepare for the arduous journey ahead. In the Buddhist tradition, meditation and retreat in isolated places are seen as essential practices for spiritual enlightenment. Buddhist monks spend long periods in solitude to disconnect from the material world and focus on their connection with the inner Buddha. This search for solitude and self-knowledge is not limited to great religious figures. Many ordinary individuals in different times and cultures have reported transformative experiences during periods of isolation and reflection. These testimonies show us that loneliness is not just a condition imposed by God, but a divine opportunity for spiritual growth, self-discovery, and connection with the sacred. It is in these moments of loneliness that we can hear God's voice and receive His guidance for our lives. Although loneliness can be a painful and challenging experience, it is important to recognize that it is part of the divine plan for our spiritual journey. God, in His infinite wisdom, knows that loneliness is necessary for us to deeply connect with Him and with our own essence. Often, it is only in loneliness that we are able to hear God's voice and receive His guidance. It is in these moments of silence and reflection that we can disconnect from the noise of the world and focus on what truly matters, our relationship with the Creator. By facing loneliness, we confront our own insecurities, fears, and limitations. This confrontation may be painful, but it is also essential for our spiritual growth. It is in this process of self-exploration that we can identify and overcome the obstacles that prevent us from achieving fullness in God. Furthermore, loneliness allows us to develop greater empathy and compassion for others. By experiencing the pain of loneliness, we become more sensitive to the needs of those who also face this challenge. This understanding leads us to seek ways to support and welcome those who are alone, thus strengthening the bonds of community and connection with the divine. It is important to emphasize that loneliness should not only be seen as a trial, but also as an opportunity for transformation. When we embrace loneliness in a healthy way, we open ourselves to the possibility of a deep encounter with God and our own essence. It is in this encounter that we find true peace, true happiness, and the true purpose of our lives. As we deepen our understanding of the divine purpose behind loneliness, it is also important to recognize that not all experiences of loneliness are equal. There are different types of loneliness, each with its own nuances and challenges. For example, voluntary loneliness, the one we choose to experience through spiritual retreats or periods of isolation, is often seen as an opportunity for growth and transformation. In these moments, we have the chance to disconnect from the world and focus on our connection with God. On the other hand, involuntary loneliness, the one imposed on us by circumstances beyond our control, can be much more challenging and painful. When we find ourselves alone for reasons such as grief, illness, rejection, or social exclusion, loneliness can become a source of great suffering and anguish. In these cases, it is essential that we have the support and guidance of a loving and compassionate community that can help us deal with the pain of loneliness and find our way back to connection with the divine. Often, it is through the love and care of others that we can find the strength and resilience needed to overcome the challenges of loneliness. Regardless of the nature of the loneliness we face, it is important to remember that God is always with us, even when we feel completely alone. He is the eternal companion who never abandons us and is always ready to welcome and guide us on our spiritual journey. By accepting loneliness as part of the divine plan, we can open ourselves to the lessons and opportunities it offers us. It is in these moments of silence and reflection that we can hear God's voice, receive His guidance, and find the true peace and happiness we long for. As we explore the divine purpose behind loneliness, it is also important to understand the relationship between loneliness and spiritual development. Many scholars and spiritual thinkers believe that loneliness is a necessary condition for the process of self-realization and enlightenment. One of the main aspects of this connection between loneliness and spirituality is the opportunity that loneliness offers us to disconnect from the material world and focus on our connection with the divine. When we are alone, free from the distractions and demands of the external world, we can turn inward and explore the mysteries of our own existence. It is in this space of silence and introspection that we can develop a more attentive listening to God's voice. Far from the noise and hustle of the world, we are able to perceive the subtle whispers of the Holy Spirit, guiding us towards our true essence and divine purpose. Furthermore, loneliness allows us to confront and overcome our own fears, insecurities, and limitations. By facing these dark aspects of ourselves, we are able to purify our soul and transform into more compassionate, resilient, and spiritually mature beings. This journey of self-discovery and inner transformation is fundamental to the process of spiritual enlightenment. As we let go of the identities and masks we have built to protect ourselves from the world, we become increasingly capable of accessing our true divine nature and connecting deeply and authentically with the Creator. Therefore, loneliness should not only be seen as a trial, but as a divine opportunity for spiritual growth. It is in this space of silence and reflection that we can find true peace, true happiness, and the true. We want to thank all our subscribers or Not the Spiritual Direction channel for following us and enjoy our content that are made with great dedication and love. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up and help us reach more people. Stay with God. Amen.